So for exercise 109, which is radiating darts, we need to use this basic front bodies with waist dart. So as we always do, the first thing we need to do is trace this basic bodies. So please let's trace this one together. We need to label each dart leg first. So this one should be dart leg A. This one should be B. And we need to find point C, which is the midpoint of this neckline here. So I'm going to place my pattern upside down. And do you remember how to measure or how to find the midpoint?
Didn't you take your clear ruler and bend it into the shape of the curve?
Yes, correct. Yep, you're right. So we need to use this clear or see-through ruler since this is flexible and this is curved line, right? Not a straight line. So we need to use this ruler and we need to bend this one to measure the length of this neckline, which is approximately 2 inches, right? Or you can also use measure tape. Actually, this is more flexible and you can also measure this neckline and find the midpoint. So the midpoint should be placed at 1 inch point, right? So you need to mark this midpoint and label this one as C. So once you have found the point C, we need to draw a slash line from this point C to the bust point. C and the bust point. We need to find the midpoint of this line. So we need to measure. Let's measure this one. And find the midpoint. So the length is almost 4 inches. So the midpoint should be placed at around like 2 inch point. And then we need to scare out 1/2 inch on each side from this midpoint. And when you scare out, you need to place your ruler so you can see these guidelines on the ruler, right? So please make sure to line up one of these lines. Scare out 1/2 inch for each side. So this should be 1/2 inch and this one should be 1/2 inch as well. And then we also need to move out 1/4 inch on each side of this point C here. So it should be 1/4 inch from point C. And then we need to connect these points to draw slash lines. And let's label this point as D and this point as E. So again, we moved out 1/2 inch from this midpoint here and 1/4 inch from point C. So you don't need to put these measurements. And we're going to cut the outline of this pattern. And then, as you know, we need to cut these slash lines, right? But make sure to not cut these lines. We're going to cut these lines only. So you need to cut from the neckline to the bust point, but not through the bust point. And we need to close these dart legs. But as you can see, it's a little bit difficult to close a dart leg, right? So I'm going to cut this part. So make another slash here. Again, to the bust point, but not through the bust point. So I'm going to cut this part. And now I'm able to close my dart legs easily. So this part of dart leg should be overlapped. And let's tape it. And we need to trace this working pattern. So tape the center front line in the middle of center front and the side line. And I'm going to tape the shoulder as well. Maybe some more tape here. And we need to spread this part, these slash lines here. So the amount of space in between these slash lines should be 1/4 inch. So I'm going to mark this point and measure 1/4 inch. Mark. And the top right corner of this part, this section, should touch this point here. And I'm going to tape it. But when you tape it, please make sure to tape in the middle of this space. And also, we need to measure 1/4 inch from this point here. And place this one. So in this case, top left corner should touch this point. And again, please tape in the middle. So we spread it out 1/4 inch for both. And now I'm going to trace this pattern. And you don't need to mark the dart point or the starting point of these darts. So please leave these dart points right now. So we need to relocate the dart points. And dart point should be located in the middle of these 2 points here. So I'm going to find the midpoint and then mark here as well. Find the midpoint, mark. And in the case of this middle one, the middle dart, we need to move 1/2 inch from the bust point. And as you know, we always need to move this point in the middle of these dart legs, right? And I'm going to draw a guideline here. So let me measure. And let's draw. So this is the guideline, and we're going to use this one later as well. So I'm going to move 1/2 inch from the bust point and mark. And I'm going to take off my working pattern. So your working pattern should look like this. Please don't take off tapes in between these lines. I'd like to see how much you spread it out. So this is your working pattern. And now we need to connect these corner points. So let's draw straight lines first. And I'm going to draw armhole. And we need to true the waistline. And we also need to true the neckline. And we actually need to fold all these darts and draw or true the neckline. And we're going to trace that by using a tracing wheel. So let me place my pattern upside down. And in order to fold these darts, I prefer to find the mid point inside these dart legs, and I'm going to draw guidelines as I did for this middle dart. So mark at 1/8 inch. And draw guidelines like this. And I'm going to fold these darts. So first, I'm going to fold this guideline. And I'm going to fold the second guideline as well. Same for the third one. So again, these are guidelines. And if you have these guidelines, it'll be much easier to fold the dart. And the next thing we need to fold is this dart leg here, which is the closer dart leg, the closer to the center front. Since the shoulder, like neck, this is neck, right? So neck dart should be folded toward the center. So I'm going to fold this one. So same for the second one. We need to fold this dart leg, which is closer to the center front. So I'm going to fold. Again, we need to fold this dart leg here, since this is closer to center front line. And please make sure to fold until the edge of this paper. Now I'm going to fold these darts. So you need to fold dart. And it should look like this. So again, the dart should be folded toward the center, right? So the direction of the dart is guarding the center front line. And now we need to true this neckline. So again, you need to fold these darts and we need to true the neckline. And then we need to use this tracing wheel to trace the line. But in the case of this one, we are going to just stitch these lines together. So let's fold the first dart, and I'm going to trace this line by using this tracing wheel, since we need to complete the line here inside this dart. So we need to trace this new neckline or true neckline, and I'm going to mark several different points since this is a little bit small. So if I open, can you guys see this one? Let's see. Can you guys see the traced line here, right? And so we need to connect this line. So we usually use ruler to draw this one. The line should look like this. So this is how your final pattern should look like. And you need to, as you know, you need to label your working and final pattern correctly. Center front should be put inside this cut and fold line, okay? Not here, not outside. It should be inside.